Imagine waking up to breaking news. A nuclear facility hit, not on purpose, not part of a planned war, but by mistake. In a world where tensions already exist between countries like Iran, Israel, and the United States, what would actually happen if a nuclear site was accidentally struck? Would it trigger a nuclear explosion? Would radiation spread across continents? Or would the reality be very different from what movies show us? Today, we're going deep, breaking down the science, the risks, and the real-world consequences. First, let's clear up something important. Not all nuclear sites are the same. There are three main types: nuclear power plants, used to generate electricity, nuclear research facilities, military nuclear sites. Most of the concern in places like Iran revolves around enrichment facilities and reactors. Here's the key point. A nuclear power plant is not a nuclear bomb. It cannot explode like a nuclear weapon. Instead, the danger comes from something else: radiation release. If a facility is severely damaged, radioactive materials can escape into the environment depending on the level of destruction and containment failure. Let's walk through a realistic scenario. A missile or airstrike hits a nuclear facility. Step 1. Immediate impact. Structural damage, possible fires or explosions, non-nuclear, power loss. Step 2. Cooling failure. Nuclear reactors rely on cooling systems. If cooling stops, the reactor core can overheat. This is what leads to a meltdown. Step 3. Radiation release. If containment systems fail, radioactive materials like iodine and cesium may escape into air, water, and soil. This doesn't happen instantly in all cases, but it's the biggest concern. Important reality check. Even in major accidents like Chernobyl and Fukushima, outcomes varied greatly. Chernobyl, 1986, severe radiation release. Fukushima, 2011, limited health impact despite meltdown. So outcomes depend heavily on reactor type, safety systems, location, weather. Now let's connect this to real-world tensions. Experts say striking certain nuclear sites may have limited impact, but hitting an active reactor could be catastrophic. For example, attacks on underground enrichment sites may cause mostly local chemical hazards, but hitting a major reactor could release radiation into the air or sea. One major concern often discussed: if a large coastal reactor is damaged, it could contaminate water supplies, affect multiple countries, disrupt entire regions. This is one of the biggest myths. Let's be clear. A nuclear power plant cannot explode like a nuclear bomb. Why? Because nuclear weapons require very specific conditions that reactors don't have. Instead, the danger is meltdown, fire, radiation spread. Think of it like this: not a giant explosion, but a slow-moving environmental disaster. Radiation affects the human body in different ways. Short-term effects: radiation sickness, burns, organ damage. Long-term effects: cancer risk, especially thyroid cancer, genetic damage, chronic illness. Children are especially vulnerable. But here's something surprising. Studies show that the biggest impacts of nuclear accidents are often psychological and social, not just physical. That includes panic, displacement, economic collapse, mental health crises. Radiation doesn't respect borders. It travels through wind, water, food chains. But the spread depends on weather conditions, wind direction, geography. In past events, radioactive particles traveled across countries, but levels dropped significantly with distance. So while headlines may sound global, the most severe effects are usually regional. Now let's zoom out. What happens beyond the immediate area? Economic impact, agriculture contamination, loss of land use, billions in cleanup costs, energy crisis, power shortages, increased fuel prices, political consequences, escalation of conflict, international panic. Worst-case global scenario? Not instant apocalypse, but long-term instability, environmental damage, economic ripple effects worldwide. Here's the truth. Nuclear accidents are extremely rare. In over 60 years of nuclear power, only a few major incidents have occurred, and modern systems are designed to prevent exactly this kind of disaster. Also, countries generally avoid targeting nuclear facilities intentionally. Why? Because the consequences don't stay local. They affect everyone. So what happens if a nuclear site is hit by mistake? Not a Hollywood-style explosion, but something more complex, and in some ways, more dangerous. A slow-moving crisis, one that spreads through air, water, and fear. The reality is, we live in a world where technology is powerful, but also fragile. And sometimes the biggest risks are not the ones we plan for, but the ones we never intended. If you found this video helpful, subscribe for more deep, fact-based breakdowns of global events.
Stay informed. Stay curious.